Perfect.
Yeah. So the name of the presentation is about the data governance related to smart cities and the cityverse, metaverse. That is a concept that I will try to explain you a bit later. So first, we will start with kind of contextual information. You may know, all of you, what's a smart city, but we will try to focus on some aspects of the definition. Then we will discuss about the state of play and the experiences in the municipality. And finally, we will talk about the European perspective in different projects that are related to data spaces, to artificial intelligence, to digital twins, and cityverse. So this will be probably the most relevant part. So let me start a timer. I have by 30 minutes, if I'm not wrong. Then let's start with the definition of a smart city. Nowadays, the definition of a smart city is quite closely related to sustainable cities. So both concepts are closely related, and they show us that the digital transition and the green transition that the cities are carrying out are really related. So in these cities, the innovation is a key aspect, in which the technology is a mean, it's not a goal, and but it's on the basis of the smart city, with the main goal of improving the quality of life of the citizenship, improving the efficiency of the services, of the operation of the different departments in the municipality. Trying to have a better present and future for the generations to come, focusing on different aspects, mainly economic, social, environment, and also cultural, but with a broad scope, with the scope of the whole municipality that, as you may know, are tackling most of the problems that the citizens have. So, but at the end, the main goal is, as it's said here, to improve the quality of life, solving public problems. So, regarding our experience, mainly focus on data. So here in this slide, we try to highlight the different elements, the different components that are part of the core system of our IT system. So first, we have the corporate databases. Here we usually highlight three of them: one for territory, other for people, and another for the organization. So these are the main three databases that we are working with in the municipality, with a very relevant role of the geographical information system. Most of the data that we have in the municipality are potentially geolocated with a position on a map. And here we distinguish two parts. On the one hand, the e-administration platform, more focused on the management of the procedures, the administrative procedures in the municipality, and on the other hand, the urban data platform, in which we are focused on the smart city department, dealing with most of the services that are providing service for the citizens, such as waste collection, mobility, urban planning. So working with this type of departments, not in the bureaucracy, let me say, that probably is more focused the e-administration platform. And with all this system, we are providing data, compiling and providing data to different systems, different presentation tools, let me say. On the first, we are providing some big data analysis. We're crossing different information from different departments. Also a participation portal with also an open data that we will describe a bit later, with the main tool of the city app for both for citizens and tourists, that it compiles most of the information that we are dealing with in the smart city department. And we are now focusing on different dashboards for different levels of decision making. We have dashboards for citizens. For example, Valencia al Minut is one of our flagship dashboards, but also for city managers and even for the mayor's office. So with this, we are trying to present the information in a friendly use, in a friendly mode, so as to make it easier to take decisions based on data. And here, a bit more elaborated, you can see here the main components of the kernel of the system, and on the left side you have the components of the e-administration portal, and on the other hand, on the right side, those departments that are providing information for the smart city office. On the bottom of the slide, you have different inputs, ways of getting information from external government levels or external partners, but also from IoT devices that are the sensors from which we are taking information in real time from about the status of the city, and different gateways that we are connecting information from the different departments and integrating into the platform. And on the top of the slide, you have more elaborated the tools that we are using for providing the information, for sharing the information with different levels of stakeholders. And regarding our experience, I would like to spend a couple of minutes in the strategy, in our ICT strategy, in which we are dealing with different topics, with different components that for each of them I would like to highlight some aspects. For example, the strategic object number 1 is focused on citizenship, because we are carrying out most of our tasks with a citizen-centric approach, with the citizen in the middle, on the center of the systems, in which we are having some objectives with lower level, with operational level. For example, with the app, with the open data portal, carrying out some training and learning sessions. Next strategy objective is more focused on the city management, smart city, for example, things related to connectivity. Next, related to the services that we are providing in order to modernize, be more updated to the new technologies and the application of ICT, both in the administrative part and in the modernization of the different departments, as I have mentioned before. Next, related to public administration, and here I would like to highlight the concept of interoperability, a crucial aspect that is key for collaborating, sharing information, and it's very important for the concept of data spaces. Next, focus on the architecture. We have different components, not only focused on hardware, but some of them are focused on this from this perspective. Next is focus on security. We have you have talked before about aspects that are very relevant for security from different perspectives. It's very relevant. And finally, last but not least, is the user services, in which we are providing, for example, assistance to the different users of our systems. Next, here we would like to highlight some aspects that are very relevant for our day-to-day activities. First, related also with data, we are extremely committed with standards. In fact, we have participated in the definition of some evaluation frameworks, not only at national level with UNE, but also at international level with United Nations by means of ITU. And we have had some certifications in these frameworks that we find it very relevant. And in our DNA is very important the collaboration and cooperation with other cities, levels of government, networks. For example, here is very relevant RECI, the Spanish Network of Smart Cities, OASC, U4SCC, that is at United Nations level, Living in EU, that is in the scope of Europe for the digital transformation. So we have, in a way, we have carried out a journey in which we have started in a paradigm of competition with other cities, why not to mention, and we are now in the paradigm of collaboration. So it's very important, and I would like to highlight this fact. As I have said before, we have participated in the modernization of the different departments in the municipality, and one of the tools that we are using are the smart clauses that are. It consists on including in the contract procedures, in the tenders, to include some clauses that, for example, makes it mandatory to deploy sensors, for example, for the contract of waste collection, that is huge in terms of money, making it mandatory to deploy sensors and to provide information to the municipality, because formerly the companies get the data and they keep the data and explode the data, but we are paying for the service, we are not getting the data. So with this, we are asking for this data to be in our urban platform. We have also carried out different actions in terms of connectivity, in terms of the definition of dashboards, and here you have 4 of our key elements in the Smart City project. That is the urban platform, that may be the core of the system, the GIS, the Open Data Portal, and the City App. Here is, in another way, a conceptual way of showing the architecture of our urban platform, in which we have some input providers. So you have IoT devices, but you have also different systems by means of ETLs, that are tools for extracting, transforming, and loading information. It's a kind of program that get the information from one source and input in the system, that is the context broker, that dispatch the different information to different products that could explode, could take advantage of this information. Here you can see the look and feel of the Open Data Portal, in which we are sharing a huge amount of data, most of them geolocated with different formats. It's highly used. You can see here the different families of data sets, some of them related to environment or to health or to government or culture. Here you can see, for example, some related to urban planning in this case, in which you can see here some data sets, and the right side different formats that you can download and explode the data the way that you want. So, and then let's focus on the perspective that I would like to highlight, that is what we are doing in terms of the approach that is tackling the European Union, the European Commission. So here we have some aspects that find them relevant. In our case, the convergence within the European strategy and the Spanish strategy by means of our digital agenda. So in which there are some elements that are crucial. For example, data and artificial intelligence that are closely related, because artificial intelligence needs obviously data. So in this case, we want to highlight some aspects. For example, the local digital twins that are using artificial intelligence and other things that I will show you a bit later. And another element that is very important are the TEFs. The TEFs are test and experimentation facilities that are projects focused on the use of applying artificial intelligence in different domains. Up to now, we have 4 TEFs in Europe. One of them is for health, another is for manufacturing industry, another is for agri-food, and ours, in which we are involved in, is Sitcom AI project that is for smart cities. Smart cities, artificial intelligence applied to this domain. And here we are defining some actions, connectors for data spaces even, that are very important in terms of our work package for technology. So we are not only defining the technology for carrying out these experiments, but also to define. Also, we are defining, for example, service catalog, business models that could be related to this approach of these test and experimentation facilities. So here again, data spaces are relevant. So then, regarding data spaces, we are working in different domains at different levels. For example, in Spain, we are, as Alma has mentioned before, there's a project from the Spanish Federation of Cities and Provinces that whose name is EDINT. It's a project for data spaces, with the goal of creating a kind of national data space. And we are one of the cities that we have applied for this project. And we hope that we will be one of the cities that will be carrying out this project. At another specific domain, that is tourism, we know that there's a very important project in which one of the main things is to develop a data space for tourism, for all the cities in Spain that are working in this domain, that are most of us. And this will be very relevant we will have a lot of lessons learned from here to apply to different domains, for example, for EDINT. At the European level, we are preparing a proposal for data spaces for smart cities and communities, for SSCC. And so there's a lot of initiatives that are in a way converging, because there are a lot of synergies within these initiatives, and having the perspective of the connection within the different initiatives is very important. So TEFs are related to data spaces, but also EDICs that I will explain you later are related to all of them. So here we are in a way defining an ecosystem in which data are very relevant in the basis, and we are working with this data by different means, but always from a perspective of data spaces, with the approach of sharing with a governance that is defined by the data space, as Ricardo has explained before, and with the different components or vectors that the data spaces have. Here we have the vision, the global vision of all these components, in which we have on the basis the infrastructure, the digital infrastructure, then the data. Here is focused on the climate neutral and smart cities mission, but it could be applied to every domain. Then we have the data platforms, the urban platforms, and the local digital twins that are related to the TEFs, the application of artificial intelligence. So here you can see some words that we have highlighted, for example, infrastructure, data, interoperability, and analytics. So these are elements that are very important in different domains that you can see on the right side, including obviously health. And here I would like to spend a few minutes for presenting the initiative in which we are working currently in the municipalities, the EDIC, or Local Digital Twins towards Cityverse. As you may know, EDICs are multi-country projects in which a group of countries present or ask for the Commission to deal with one topic. Up to now, and as far as I know, there are 8 edicts. 3 of them have been approved. This is one of them. Here in Spain, we have 2 edicts, 2 seats of the edict. This is one of them on local digital twins toward the Cityverse. And we have another that Ricard has mentioned before, is EUCAIM, edict on image for cancer, whose seat will be also in Valencia, focused on the health domain. So then I would like to share some information about the edict on local digital twins towards Cityverse. First, even though you may know what's edict and what's Cityverse, let me spend 1 minute for both concepts. Local digital twins have some components, some things that define what a digital twin is. First, you have on the basis is the virtual representation. A digital twin is something that is a virtual image or virtual representation of something that is real. In our case, we have digital twins for a city. We are presenting the model of a city in 3D with different levels of quality. But this is one of the components, because there could be people that consider that the digital twin is only the image of the city. You have this with Google Maps. But digital twin is a concept that have like more layers, more components that are necessary for having a digital twin. One of them are the data. So a digital twin without the integration of data is not a digital twin. And in most of the cases, it should be real-time data. Here you can see on the image the traffic status of the city at this moment, or in the moment of taking the image, obviously. So here you combine real-time data with the representation. But there are more components of a local digital twin, including the application of AI algorithms and data analytics. So with this, we can have a more complex analysis and even to create simulation scenarios. So this could be the 4 components. Here, I would like to distinguish different levels of the maturity of digital twins. You could have so informative, descriptive digital twins in which they present what's happening now. Here you could see one of them. So what's the status of traffic, or how are the occupation or the occupancy of the parking places for disabled, or the atmospheric pollution, or something like this. So descriptive, what's happening. Next level of maturity could be predictive. So what's going to happen? I know that the parking occupancy of the Reina Square is 70%, but I don't want what's happening now. I want to know what will happen in a couple of hours. Then with the prediction, we could have an estimation of what could happen in a couple of hours. And the last level, the highest level of maturity is the prescriptive, in which you are not going to say in descriptive what's happening, in predictive what is going to happen. But here you could say what should we do to improve something. So prescriptive is, well, if you want to prevent this traffic jam, you should apply these measures, for example, for traffic light performance. So with this, here we distinguish these 3 levels of complexity. And related to Cityverse is, in a way, another concept in which we are evolving this approach so as to have more immersive experiences. The level of presentation could be even better, even with higher quality. We combine virtual and real worlds. In a way, is a way of providing new services, new channels of communication. And here we could think about applying this to different domains. For example, for tourism, we could apply Cityverse for tourism, so as to provide virtual immersive experiences to visit different assets. But also, for example, for attendance to the citizens, in the information offices in the municipality, you could have avatars, a virtual avatar for providing information. It's like the evolution of a chatbot in which you could get information, but in a more friendly way. Up to now, we have in this EDIC 13 countries, and we are in the process of having more countries in the future. And now we are in the process of engaging cities and regions, because we will have members that are member states, but also cities and regions, and because digital twins are more focused on cities than on member states. And what are the objectives? In this case, I would like to start with the last thing, that is, I have mentioned before, this ecosystem for smart cities and communities, in which local digital twins are a very important component. But it's one of the tools, one of the initiatives that are trying to create a solid European ecosystem that could compete with other regions in which where they are working with different approaches. But here there are a lot of initiatives that we are very confident of having a very powerful ecosystem on that. And with this, we're trying to create a common infrastructure for this kind of projects. In this case, EDIC means European Digital Infrastructure Consortium, and one of the digital infrastructure that we are going to work with is a toolbox. So we are creating a toolbox so as to provide the cities with tools that could make it easier to develop the projects for digital twins. And we are not thinking only about cities that are the champions in this domain. So we are thinking about people, cities that are medium-sized cities, so with different levels of maturity. With this, the European Commission is trying to not to reinvent the wheel, so avoid repetitions, and not only develop pilots, but also tackling more ambitious projects that couldn't be managed by one or two countries, but with a set of countries, like in this case we have. So with this, I think that the most relevant things about local digital twins, data, and the EDIC have been dealt. And from my side, I finished. Thank you for your attention. And if you have any question, please, I'm here to answer you.
Many thanks, Ernesto. Now it's time for the attendants to give us questions if they wish. But let me say that you are not free of questions, because I'm here and I'm really interested in different issues regarding your presentation. First one, while people is thinking in different questions, regards our experience on, let me say, the internal management of cultural changes, and probably the adaptation of the staff in order to deal with really difficult issues. Let me say that my main insight the last years is that we have been working with different municipalities, and the challenges we face were really new, in certain sense, really counterintuitive, taking into account the previous experience of the, let me say, the officials, the public servants. Have you same, let me say, experience, and do we need to deal or to promote training programs in order to re-skill the capabilities of the officials?
Yes, very good question, and really complex to answer. But here, for us, it's very important the concept of urban platform. Why? Because, as you have said, it means a cultural change. And in a municipality, most of the times are very complex to carry out these cultural changes. So here we have been used to work in silos. This is the reality. And with the approach of an urban platform in which we are inputting a lot of information from different domains, we in a way can work with data from different domains and take better decisions. So urban platforms are a tool for removing or reducing silos in a municipality. And this is a very important aspect because, as you have said, the usual way of doing things is I'm the owner of this data and I want to keep the ownership of this data, and the less departments I share them with, the better. So now we are trying to change their minds in order to work more in a collaborative way. And this is a first step for the evolution that we will have going to this data spaces approach. But the retraining, in a way, we have been carried out these actions from our modest position in the smart city office, because we have had meetings with most of the departments in which we have presented our strengths, our debilities also, but trying to show them what could they get from that. So we present, for example, to the waste collection department what we have done with mobility, present the dashboards and things like that, and then, well, I would like to have this. Then why not to be on board? So it's a kind of engagement process for the department, for the different departments.
That there is a complementary question in the chat by Angel, who is going ahead and saying if you find valuable to create non-formal spaces to share with users in the city council, or identify the early adopters and help them to expand their work. Then it's interesting because he's talking about open visibility, transparency, and engagement of different stakeholders that are, let me say, early adopters, and particularly, I mean, he is trying to say interested in this kind of initiatives.
Well, at this moment, in a way, we are doing this with our open data portal. We are sharing non-formal data spaces with this, sharing a lot of information that some years ago it was unfeasible to manage. We have convinced the departments to share the data. And we are in the process of evolving from this open data portal into data spaces approach. And then with this approach, we will be able to manage the different levels of access to different profiles for early adopters, for users, for internal users, but also for externals, even creating a market, kind of data market. I don't know if the approach of the question from Angel would be in this sense, because for the early adopters, for example, we have this at this moment and in the near future.
I think, I don't know if there is any other question. We have the next speaker with us and we are on time. In fact, it's really strange, but we are earlier than expected. But I think that Noemi wants to ask something because her hand is up.
Yes, one last question, if I may. Thanks a lot, Ernesto, for your interesting and complete presentation. Maybe a general question, but to know your view on, do you think that smart cities technologies and also local twins could help in the prevention and or the management and coordination in catastrophes such as the one we are living now in Valencia because of the Dana?
Yeah, so a very good question at this moment, because as you know, we are dealing with this dramatic situation in Valencia, and in fact we have started to work with the digital twins in order to manage the reconstruction. So even before these terrible floods, we started to work from the EDIC for giving support to the reconstruction of Ukraine after the war. So with the same approach that they are using for the reconstruction after a war, for assessing, evaluating the damages in different domains, in houses, in public spaces, and vehicles, and so on. Now we are in the process of fine-tuning this tool for being applied to this domain. So the answer is yes, and in fact we are starting to work with. We presented yesterday to the councillor a potential project, an idea for tackling this issue.
That's fantastic. Yeah, thank you.